You're listening to the Go Getter Podcast. I'm your host, Candice Janae. I'm a digital marketing and automation strategist and business coach. I'm the CEO and founder of Epic Fab Girl, where we help Christian women entrepreneurs market and scale their service-based businesses beyond six figures as they grow deeper in their faith. So whether you're a coach, speaker, or a service provider, this podcast will drop gems, bringing you tips, strategies, and stories from experts to help you take your life, business, and relationship with God to the next level. Hello, Go Getter Gang. Welcome to another episode of the Go Getter Podcast. I'm your host, Candice Janae. And as you see, if you're watching this podcast show, you can see that I'm wearing one of our most prized possessions inside of the Epic Fab Girl community, which is our Go Getter Gang tee. But if you didn't already know, literally, like, if you're a part of the Go Getter Gang, that just means that you are a part of our family and our community. So we say gang, gang all day, honey. Gang, gang all day. So welcome back, Go Getter Gang. We are so excited to have you. Today's episode is an incredible episode. Like, let me tell y'all. So in 2023, we basically put together this really incredible virtual summit, and we have a virtual summit pretty much annually. And the 2023 one was so incredible. We thought that we should bring it back. It's been so long since these episodes were, or the actual sessions from the summit was actually recorded. But when we were listening back to them, we were like, this is so good. More people need to hear this conversation. And so that's why we are bringing today's episode, which is a snippet of the conversation that we had at the Go Getter Confidential Virtual Summit. And we had panels of incredible speakers that you probably know and love. Or if you don't know and love them yet, I'm sure you'll fall in love with them when you're hearing their story. But you are in for an amazing and special treat today. So stay tuned for today's episode. Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Go Getter Confidential Virtual Summit. Y'all, like, it has been an incredible time. And I know we got done talking about mindset yesterday, but I feel a shift coming. I feel like when it comes to marketing, y'all are about to be mind blown with this session because we have some incredible entrepreneurs on here from so many different angles. They're going to share with you so much about marketing and really taking your business to that next level when it comes to marketing. So I'm going to introduce our speakers in just a second. But before I do, I am going to pray because y'all know we don't start nothing without praying first. So let's get to it. So dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for every single person that is here and under the sound of my voice. I thank you for the calling that is on their lives. But I thank you, Father, that you have been calling them into a deeper level with you, but you've also been calling them higher. I pray, Father, that even what they are getting ready to do, the visions that you've shown them, that as they market these things, that they would go beyond what they would have ever thought or imagined they would have been able to do. I thank you for helping them to create more content that is in alignment with your plan and purpose for their lives. I thank you for virality that's going to come forth from the ideas that they come up with because of this summit. I pray, Father, for the clarity in their marketing plans and campaigns and strategies as they spend time even listening to this today. Lord, we just thank you for the mindset shifts that are about to take place. We thank you for the understanding and the wisdom that's about to be shared. But Holy Spirit, we just invite you into the space to do what you want to do, to have your way, and literally to bless this audience with just more and more wisdom. So we just thank you for what you're getting ready to do. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Y'all, we are in for an amazing treat. So I'm going to bring up our speakers. We've got Brianca Johnson Kirkman. We've also got Ryan McCrary. Listen, it's a tongue twister. I'm like, I hope I said it right. And Christal Luster. Okay. And honestly, y'all, I am just so excited to have all these amazing speakers here today. So let's get started with Brianca. I want you to share with us a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and how you got to where you are right now in business.
Hey y'all, I am Brianca Johnson-Kirkman. I am a marketing strategist and coach, and I have been doing marketing since 2014, so about a decade. I actually started right after college. I started my own business as like a hobby, and it morphed into this online business that I have now. But basically what I do is I help entrepreneurs make marketing easy. I think that a lot of times like marketing can be this like robust topic that has all of these different components of it, and we can make it super complicated and make sales hard. So my goal overall is to help entrepreneurs make marketing easy and make sales simple using automations and, just simple marketing strategies. So I've started doing this work. I was initially the digital director for the 2018 gubernatorial race to elect Stacey Abrams. And then in 2020, I went full-time in my business. I decided to leave nonprofit and political work to work as a coach and a strategist. And so I've been doing that full-time, and I work as a consultant as well.
Love it. Ryan, let's hear from you.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan McCrary. You did say it right. Thank you. Also known as the Funnel Doctor. So we help creative entrepreneurs, mostly 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs, mostly women as well, just grow and scale their business using sales funnels and paid advertising. Our agency has been in business for almost 5 years now. And we really just help our clients attract more leads and convert them into paying customers. So I love all things funnels, all things paid advertising, because I like the two of those, what I call the peanut butter and jelly formula, because you can have a great funnel, you can have a great offer, great copy, but if you don't have enough traffic, if you don't have enough people seeing what you offer, if you don't have enough eyeballs, it doesn't matter. Most entrepreneurs have great products and services, but they need to get in front of enough people. And on the flip side, if you have a great ad campaign, if you have a lot of traffic, but you don't have the right funnel, you don't have the right offer, you don't have upsells, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So that's what we help our clients with.
I love it. And Miss Christal, who is basically a comedian on top of everything else.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I am Christal Lester. Definitely a comedian in my own right, I would say. But I am a full-time creative. I do everything from music, spoken word. I'm an author, speaker, a content creator, actress, filmmaker, photographer, videographer, graphic designer, like all the creative things I just love to do. My background really comes from, even after I graduated college, I went into work as a director of marketing for Essations Incorporated, which I'm still part owner. It's a hair care manufacturing company. And then in 2018, I started my own business, Crystal Clear Productions, under which I manage my career, but I also do my photography, videography, and brand consulting. And my claim to fame really has kind of risen as a content creator. I have over 600,000 followers across all of my platforms, and I achieved that within a year. So, I'm teaching people how to strategize and win with short form content.
I love it. Y'all know y'all about to learn from the best. Okay. So I'm really, really excited. Y'all hearing Brianca talking about she helped Stacey Abrams get elected. You got Ryan, who literally is probably behind so many funnels that you didn't even know was out there or that he's been a part of. And Christal, you may hear the Lester name. You like, oh, is she related? Yes, she related. And on top of that, there is just so much wisdom that she has. Y'all see, Sis said she does it all. Okay. She's actually led worship at like Go Getter conference in the past too. So listen, she is multi-talented, and I got so excited that I didn't even introduce myself. So just for y'all, just so y'all know, like I absolutely love all things marketing. So this is my panel that I'm honestly most excited about. I love talking faith, but like the logic side of me is like all business and marketing. But my name is Candace Janae. I am the CEO and founder of Epic Fab Girl. We are a community for Christian women entrepreneurs. We help them market and monetize their ideas to 6 figures and beyond. And I'm a content creator. I do a lot. I actually have my master's in business administration with the focus on marketing and accounting, but I've been a full-time entrepreneur, like going on 7 years, but I started my first ever business when I was in undergrad. I actually started a hair extensions company, and it was an e-commerce brand. So that was back when Instagram barely even had DMs yet. So like, that's how long I've been in business in terms of running businesses. And so I'm just really excited. I am a digital marketing and automation strategist and business coach. And so that's why I absolutely, literally love this conversation today. So let's talk about, marketing and social media. I think a lot of times in this day and age, when people think marketing, all they think about is social media, right? And it's like, bro, there's so much more to marketing. And so let's talk about why you guys think marketing is so important when it comes to business.
So I think that marketing is super important for your business because it's really your opportunity to build a relationship with your audience. A lot of times I think that when we think about social media, we think, just content creation, but the goal ultimately should be to move your audience from social media into platforms that you own. So whether it's sending them to your website or getting them to sign up for your email newsletter or whatever that looks like, your free community, what your summit, whatever that looks like for you, but driving that audience to come to a platform that you own. And you do that through marketing. You do that through connecting your story to the story of your client or to the results that they want or to the pain points that they're having. And I think that when we focus solely on content creation and solely on social media without really thinking about like, where am I driving this audience? How do I want them to convert? What's the goal that I want them to accomplish? We really missed the mark, right? Like that translates into you creating content, but not necessarily making sales. And the whole purpose of marketing is to drive those sales. And so I think it's so important to build that relationship and to really think about your marketing from a one-to-one perspective. So who am I talking to with this piece of content? Who's the one person that I want to reach? I think that when you think about it that way, you make it a little bit easier because instead of you thinking about the 10,000 followers that you have, you're thinking about the one person that you want to talk to.
I love it. And I love what you said about not focusing on the 10,000 and just focusing on the one. And that principle is applicable even if they have 100 followers. Like if you got 100 followers, it's 100 people paying attention. Talk to the people that's there. Make money from the people that's there. And so that's one of the big myths I always like to bust is like, you don't have to have this massive social media following to make money. Because if you're not making money and converting people into customers when you got 1,000 followers or 2,000 or 10,000, you're not miraculously going to start making money when you hit 100,000 followers or 10,000 followers. It's like you got to figure out how to make this shake before the audience comes. So Ryan, I would love to hear from you on your 2 cents on this.
Yeah, she hit the nail on the head. That's hard to follow up from. But I think definitely like understanding, marketing, like doing the correct marketing, and then of course understanding direct response marketing. Because I think a lot of people talk about marketing and, it's really general, but really understanding like direct response marketing and how to get a direct response from people. And of course, getting them on your list. We don't own these platforms. So no matter how many followers you have, we've seen, Instagram got shut down for like a few hours, all the different social media platforms. We don't own them. So the goal has to be get them off of social media and onto our list, on our Facebook group, text list, email list, and so forth. So I think that's extremely important. And then, of course, like you said, just being able to separate followers from actual paying customers. So you may have hundreds of thousands of followers or millions of followers, but you need something that's going to actually separate people and segment people because you can't just build your business off followers. You have to build it off customers, understanding the pain points or challenges. And then once you get them into your funnel, upsell them, identifying who are your best customers, and then, just doing it that way. That's how I feel.
I love it. Ryan, for somebody who is new to marketing and has no idea what direct response marketing is, can you break it down for us?
Sure. So that's putting an offering out there or a message out there where you're looking for like a direct response or you have a specific call to action. So it's not just generally saying like, hey, like my page, just doing something where you're just getting awareness. Like you may see a Coca-Cola ad and it's just about awareness. Everyone knows Coca-Cola, everyone knows the brand, but you may see another ad where it's like text 456 to this number and now you can get our ebook. Something that specifically has a call to action and specifically, capturing someone's information, their name, their email, their phone number, other information you may want to collect, not just general advertising that is kind of like brand awareness.
I love it. You broke it down real nice and easy. Christal, let's hear your thoughts on, marketing outside of social media and its importance.
So interesting to say that because first of all, amazing answers from both of you all. My whole business has kind of shifted to focus on social media. And I think what I've learned about that is first of all, it's incredibly important because the world has kind of shifted to mobile devices. A lot of people are not spending all day on a computer screen when they're shopping. A lot of times they're looking at their phones. A lot of people are not watching traditional television or like reading magazines or different things from when I was growing up. Ads that people are seeing are more so from their phones, from social media, different things like that. But I think the biggest thing that you can take from social media and marketing in general, whether it be on a platform or whether it be on your website or in your funnels or whatever it is authenticity, right? You have to look at it as a way to show people who you are. Because at the end of the day, whether you have products or services, you are selling yourself, because there are 100 people who are doing what you're doing. I don't know anybody who has like the singular hold or the monopoly on one business category. It just doesn't exist. And there's enough room at the table for everybody to do one type of thing. But what differentiates people between, one person doing it and another person doing it is their personal brand. And so I think whatever that looks like as far as color schemes, fonts, tone of message, different captions, the type of call to action. Some are going to be a little more, I don't want to say threatening in their messaging, but, they may be a little more in your face. Some might be a little more fun. Some might be a little more professional or subtle, different things like that. And I think it's important to remember that marketing is about asserting your personal brand and establishing an emotional connection with people who you hope to convert into customers. Because at the end of the day, if I don't trust your expertise, it's not likely that I'm going to trust you with my bank card or, my credit card, different things like that. So that's my take on it.
I love it. And I definitely think marketing and social media is so important. And social media, the thing I love about social is like, I'm good at creating content, but I haven't always been good at creating content. It's like anything else. You got to keep on doing it and figure out what works and get more comfortable and confident doing it. But I love social media because it's, we complain about these algorithms, but at the end of the day, we're getting traffic for free. Like, we don't have to pay for nothing. Like, you could put a reel up and then baby, it could go viral and now you get a whole bunch of leads. You could do a TikTok like Christal be doing, being hilarious and get a whole bunch of leads and now has grown her brand awareness. So, social media, I feel like is really important because it's where people look to these days. Like, a lot of times if I tell somebody, for example, my hair, everybody has been commenting on my hair. Who did your hair? Girl, who did your hair? Great. So the first thing, if I'm like, oh, this is the girl's Instagram page, I'm not saying here's her website. Like, we're going to her social media. We're going to see what that portfolio looks like. So that's why it's important to, take yourself seriously enough to show up on social media, but then have the behind the scenes stuff in place as well. So that, when people find you, that they can, get the ebook or book, a call or whatever that next step is going to be. So my next question is, I want y'all to actually fill in the blanks. So one thing I wish every business owner knew about marketing and social media is, so what's one thing that you wish every business owner knew? And y'all can hop in when you want.
I can actually start. One thing that I wish every business owner knew about marketing and social media, especially social media, is that it's a lot of work. I think a lot of times people get into it and they're just like, oh, I'm going to put a platform plan together and it's going to be this cookie cutter thing that I just drop in. But what a lot of people don't realize, especially when it comes to social media is a conversation. Like any type of marketing, right? You're joining in a conversation that is already happening. So if you're new to marketing, if you're new to social media, you can't just go out there and be like, hey, y'all, I'm here. It's like walking into a party and then, talking about a funeral or something like that. If you don't know really what's going on and you just popping up saying whatever, people are looking at you strange or they're ignoring you. You have to understand that you are joining a conversation, and that means understanding trends. That means taking the time to research what trends are popular, what audios are popular, how to use these actual things, transitions. I hate it when people put up transitions that are tacky looking. And I know a lot of people just don't know, but like, if you are going to do transitions, there are literally so many resources to teach you how to do them. Don't get lazy about it because it matters. People look at quality, people look at timing, people look at, how well you came prepared to talk about it. And so I think don't underestimate the work that it takes. It's why people have made careers out of being social media managers, because it is a lot of work. It takes commitment, it takes consistency, it takes research, and it takes dedication.
I want to jump in on the back end of Christal. So I think that one thing that I want people to know is that the wealth is in the data. So if you are a person who is doing all of the things, even like what Christal is saying, like using audios, using transitions, understanding your content plan, things like that, but you're not going back to assess what worked, what didn't work, at what point did it work. I think that one thing that people really skip over when it comes to marketing is timing. You have a lot of people who say like, oh yeah, just create a funnel, but the funnel is to send the right message to the right person at the right time, and your data will tell you that. So you have to be constantly, tinkering and looking at the data and understanding and assessing. And you have to be in that process. It's not a set and forget type of scenario. It's something that is constantly evolving, it's constantly working, it's constantly being improved. And if you're not committed to that, if you're not dedicated to the work of that process, it's not going to work to the degree that you want it to. Like the people who are being successful in these funnels, the people who are being successful in their marketing are constantly working. They didn't put up one TikTok, go viral, and then make $1 million and never do anything else. No, they took that momentum and they continued building on it. They continued assessing and analyzing and kind of like being a nerd with their data. And I think that sometimes, like as business owners, particularly, when you're newer, you are afraid of the data. You are afraid to really get in the back end and get in the nitty gritty and ask questions and ask yourself, like, one, how did I feel about this process that I just created? How do I feel reading these emails? If someone were to send me emails like this or send me these text messages, would I be invested in it? I just sent this funnel to 200 people. Did anyone convert? If they didn't, then friend, that's an indication that there is something to go back and rework and look at. And so I guess like to sum up my point, the one thing that I want everyone to know is that the money, the wealth is really in the data. And if you start there, you can start seeing momentum, you can start increasing your sales, and, you can start growing for real.
That's so good. For me, Listen, I agree with 100% with everything that you all said. And for me, it's really about the direct-to-consumer relationship and just really understanding that. I think since, a lot of us now are like so used to social media and it's been around for, I guess, almost 20 years now, we don't really think about the old times when we really had to actually go through the middleman and stuff like that. So it's like, if I want to publish a book, I almost had to always get a publisher or go to some, Simon & Schuster or something like that. Now I can just publish a book, go direct to consumer, and I can literally sell it through my social media. So I think a lot of people don't fully understand the times that we're in and just really fully taking advantage of it and really being able to monetize and create community, and just build so many relationships and connection with people. It really makes your customers or your followers think, that they know you before they even meet you in person. So building that low like and trust. We all know that when we're selling something, the easiest way to sell someone something is getting them to know us, like us, and trust us. So it's tons of times where I went to conferences or in-person events and people that have been following me for years and they feel like they actually know me, even though they haven't actually met me in person yet. So I think definitely just taking advantage of that, the community building. And then, of course, like I said, definitely that direct-to-consumer relationship. We got to think about back in the day, how we really didn't have the luxury of having social media. Just think about, I worked in corporate for many years. So me being able to now literally quadruple my corporate salary just from using my phone and being able to use social media is like unheard of. So our parents and grandparents, think about all the stuff they had to do and work, actually, manual labor and stuff like that. And now we have the beautiful thing of the internet and social media to literally make a living, be able to, provide products and services, hire people, provide employment opportunities just from social media and online marketing is really revolutionary. So I want everyone to really understand that.
You're so right. It's so crazy because I've been talking about this for a while. I think we take for granted social media. We take for granted the era that we're living in. It was not this easy. People who were getting started in the courses world and coaching, they was doing this stuff via emails. They didn't even have these fancy built out landing pages. They had to get it how they could, like, and so the fact that we have access to so many tools that can help us grow, and the fact that we can even, on top of that, going back to what Brianca was talking about, is that the wealth is in the data, right? So we have access to data at our fingertips that would have been difficult to get access to, whether it's like data about, what posts people liked on your page, but then that customer relationship data of like getting to know your customers and what they're talking about, and just that access to them. And so for me, like I've helped over 15,000 women build their businesses. But one of the things that people have always asked, like, what's the secret and the factor to our success in terms of helping women build six-figure businesses? And the secret is that we base everything that we tell our clients to do off of data. Like the first thing we have anybody do, you create an offer, go do some research. We're not about to have you just pull out of something out your mind like, oh, I think this is a good idea. Well, let's validate it. Let's do some research and make sure. And so that's the one thing I wish that everyone knew about marketing, is that the best marketing really does come from data. And even if you feel like you don't have data, you can have a conversation with a person, and that's your data. And so like I have a client who, she actually works at Meta, and she has a company that is focused on like UX research. And she joined one of our programs. And, the first thing I always tell everybody to do, go do research your audience. Literally, she researched her audience, came up with a new offer. Within her first month of the program, y'all, she literally made $27,000 from one client off of a single offer. It was just one thing. And I asked her, I'm like, is this something that you could do? Like, how difficult is this? She's like, I could do this in my sleep. So for y'all, like, there's two concepts from that I want you to understand, is that money is easier to make than we think. And a lot of times we be thinking that we have to do all this complicated work, but when you position the right messaging to the right audience, and Brianca said that earlier, it's just finding the right audience, positioning the right message. That's what's going to help you get closer to getting a result or making more money in your business, because you're creating something that is based off of something that was validated. You're giving them what they said they wanted, and you're delivering on it. Like, it's literally that simple. And so I just want y'all to never veer away from the data aspect of marketing, because the social media stuff is cute, but create social media content based off of the data that you find. So there's that.
If you've learned anything from this podcast, I know you're going to love the Go Getter Confidential Click at GoGetterMembership.com. It's a global membership community for Christian women entrepreneurs to connect, build wildly profitable service-based businesses, and grow their faith. So whether you're just getting started with an idea, or you already have an established brand and you want to lay the foundation for six-figure income, the Go Getter membership is just what you need. With expert masterclasses, monthly prayer, and tons of courses and downloads, your business will be better because of it. Entrepreneurship isn't easy, but this community will help you go from feeling stuck to clear and motivated. Join today at GoGetterMembership.com and save 50% off your first 3 months when you use code podcast at checkout. We'll see you inside.
I want to shift the conversation into content creation and social media, because we're in the day and age of, like, as a business owner, you got to be into content some type of way. Like, there's no avoiding it. Like, you got to do content. You got to show up on social media. And I just want to know, like, especially when you see so many other people out there doing similar things or whatever it may be, or you see this person that has a certain number of followers, but you're like, oh, wow, I only got 500 followers. Like, how have you guys learned to create content that resonates with your audience and not compare yourself to what you see other people doing out there?
I want to jump in here. So I will say that, like, I'm a person who still struggles with creating content. It is not my favorite thing to do. I do not enjoy it, but I have learned to create systems basically that allow me to create content in a way that doesn't feel forced or doesn't feel like I'm doing something that's inauthentic to me. As an example, I'm not funny. I'm not a person who's going to dance in reels. I'm not pulling pranks. I'm not doing any of that. And I know that about myself, but I do love to teach. And so what I've learned to do is like pull, scripts from my coaching calls, or pull scripts or testimonials from what clients say and use that as a framework to teach. I often repurpose my email. So in my emails, I provide a lot of strategy. I'll take that strategy and I'll repurpose it into either Instagram Live where I'll teach on that topic, or a carousel post where I'll provide more in depth about that strategy. And for me, right, like that has allowed me to teach in a way that feels good to me. And it has allowed my clients to get results. I literally had a client who was like, I followed something that you said in an email and I made 5 figures. And it's like, and for me, that feels good versus if I were to do something where I was just trying to do it for the algorithm, that would be very challenging for me to remain consistent. And I've learned that the biggest driver of momentum in your business is being consistent. So do what you can be consistent in, And so when it comes to that, for me, if I feel like I'm looking at someone else's content and I'm comparing myself to them, I mute them. And that feels very good to me because not from a place of competition or from a place of, negativity or anything. I'm still rooting for them, but I want to make sure that my spirit is intact. I want to make sure that I'm operating from my business, in the right posture. And I think that it's hard to do that sometimes when you're operating from your flesh, because your flesh can compare yourself. Your flesh can make you feel like, deceive you to feel like, oh, dang, I'm not doing it like this person. I'm not as big. And so for me, muting them allows me to take that off of my plate, to go back and to pray about it, to journal about it, to assess, what's bringing those feelings up for me, and to re-strategize. Like, is this something that I want to address right now? Is this something that I don't want to address? Is this something that is actually a problem? Or is this something that I'm making up because I'm comparing myself to someone else, even though I don't know what is really going on in their business, their life, their Instagram, or anything else, And so for me, that has really changed the trajectory of my business, because instead of me wasting time worried about what someone else is doing in their business, I'm focused on my business and I'm focused on serving my clients. And that has really, just changed how I look at Instagram. It's changed my consistency. It's changed how I show up. It's changed so much because I'm not bogged down in all of these negative feelings of comparison.
Whew, that was good. I mean, listen, she said just mute them. And honestly, I do the same thing too. Like anytime I start feeling like, oof, like, that feeling that you like, this is cool for them, but it makes me start to be like, dang, should I have hit 1 million already? Or like, it's like, anytime I'm like, you gotta go. Like it's because I'm on the path that God has for me. And if I ain't there yet, I ain't there yet because he ain't want me to be there yet. So at the end of the day, like, social media is beautiful. I challenge you to mute me if I'm a problem for you. Okay. Like at the end of the day, you got to do what makes sense for you. And you can't compare your journey and where you're at to where someone else is at, because you don't know what God did to get them there. You don't know what they had to do and struggle with to get to that point. You don't know how their business may be failing behind the scenes. Like you do not know. Like, yeah, maybe they made 1 million, but maybe they spent, $950,000 of it. Like you know, like, so stop worrying so much about other people and just really just hone in on what God has for you. Ryan, I feel like you looked very moved. So I want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I think that goes back into your content. Everyone has unique experiences, and unique story. So even if someone is in the same industry as you, they do the same product or service or whatever, they're still not you. So you have a unique story that you can tell. Everyone has unique experiences. I still struggle with creating content myself. So of course I do what, the great influencers will tell you to do. I batch content. So I'll take a certain day, every month or every quarter, and we just record a whole bunch of videos, either with my videographer or myself, and then we'll drip them out. So I think a lot of people struggle with that because it's like, oh, well, I got to put out a video Thursday. Let me record it on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then it never happens, so batching content is great. Another thing I love to do is just do it based on my lifestyle. So a lot of content or videos or ads that I've done, most of the time they weren't designed to like be ads or anything like that. Let's say I'm in, I did something where I was on vacation in Jamaica and it was like a little waterfall or something like that. And then I was like, all right, I told my friend, yo, get your camera out, get your phone out. I'm recording a quick video of me coming out the waterfall. And I'm like, all right, you want your website flooded with traffic? You need to hire the funnel doctor. And I'm all wet, looking like I just came out of a flood. So stuff like that is like, I literally just pick up easily. Another thing I do when I'm out is I do something called like funnels are everywhere, because I'm always talking about funnels and why funnels are important. And every day on a daily basis, we always going through funnels. So whether I'm in the mall, whether I'm in Dave & Buster's with my son, whether I'm about to order something, order some food, there's always a funnel that I'm in. I'm always getting upsold. I'm always getting a different offer. People always trying to get me to spend more money. So I'm always pulling on my phone like, listen, funnels are everywhere. I'm in a store right now. I'm buying furniture, about to get a new sofa. Now they want me to get the love seat. Now they want me to get this. Literally, we're going through funnels every single day. And that's content that I can use and give to my audience, and also, put some paid ads behind it. So I literally just create it around my lifestyle and then create content based on that.
Love it. Christal?
Now, I want to jump back real quick to what Brianca said. Listen, basically, sis says stay in your lane, and I am here for it. Let me tell you real quick why I love that statement. I remember a few years ago, the Lord had given me something to say to my sister. She had been struggling with her business. She had been confided to me like, man, I'm just really frustrated. People that I trained are doing better than me on what I trained them to do. And it's like, why isn't it happening for me? And I get that feeling. I have been there. As an actor, if anybody is in the creative field from an acting perspective, literally all you hear for at least the first couple years so many times is no, yes, no. There's a lot of rejection in this field. And even with social media, battling with the algorithm, it's like, oh, this is going to be the one. I put everything into it. Nah, you going to sit at 27 views, right? But so I was having this conversation with her. And one day, you know how God can just speak to you, drop a little something in your soul. I'm driving and I see construction. That what is it? Not triangle, that diamond sign that says it's yellow, the caution sign, stay in your lane. I was like, okay, Lord, what you trying to say to me? He said, sometimes when you in traffic, right, everybody is going in one direction. And there's really no traffic in the area that you're going. But then all of a sudden, people start slamming on their brakes because they bottlenecking on that side, trying to see what's going on with people going in a totally different direction. And the problem with that is not only are you stopping other people behind you who are trying to follow in your footsteps and get to where you're going, but you also run the risk of missing your exit because you're so focused on what's going on over there. So I say that to say, I am a big advocate for unfollowing, muting, whatever it is that you got to do to make sure that you stay in your lane and get to your destination. Because what's going to happen is if you so focused with what somebody is doing over there, like Candace said, you don't know what they had to do to get to that point. If you so focused over there, you miss your exit. Now you've wasted time. It's like the Israelites going around that desert for 40 years. So what should have taken you 15 minutes to get to your destination, now you got to go up to the next exit, which is like 7 miles up. You wasting time. You still gonna get there because he is a good and gracious God. He's a good father, but it's gonna take you a little time because you was focusing on somebody else's lane. Now, that being said, I'm gonna push the envelope just a little bit. I agree, content is not easy for everybody. It's uncomfortable. I'm gonna keep it real, and it comes from a place of love. Get over it. Get to a place where you sit in discomfort, because that is how change is effected. If you think about the culture of our country and dealing with systemic racism and critical race theory, different things like that, the reason why things don't change is because people refuse to sit in uncomfortable conversations. Same thing goes for content. It is uncomfortable to talk to a screen. Nobody is talking at you. You feel crazy. Like, why am I doing this? I can't dance. And to be honest with you, the only reason I'm funny is because I don't have any sense, okay? It's not like I went to joke school, okay? I did not go to joke school. I am corny as all get out, okay? But people enjoy, you see the people laughing on the screen because they having a good time. I'm having a good time, so other people have a good time because, I'm corny, but I'm still a little funny, and that's fine. And I think it's like we've all said, consistency is key, right? I'm cool with batching, especially when it comes to businesses. When I'm consulting my clients who are small business owners and they're trying to develop content strategies to get their businesses out there, I look at trends for a reason. Like I said earlier, it's to join a conversation. It doesn't mean that everything that we do is going to be a part of a trend. But a trend is kind of like the vehicle. It's like getting on a train. You hop on a train and it takes you somewhere, but everybody else got different stops to where they're going. So I can hop on this train. That's me joining the conversation via a trend, but then I may stop somewhere else to deliver what it is that I've been working on that's, directed especially to my brand, maybe my funnels or whatever it is. So I think that, having those batch content, and I do it too, is necessary, because you don't ever want to mess up the consistency game. But also take into consideration, if all you do is batch content, if all you do is say, let's say at the beginning of the month, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to create all of the content for next month. And let's say something huge happens next month, and all of your content is already scheduled out, and you have nothing to say about what everybody is talking about. All of that work you did is ignored because nobody is talking about it. So it's important to also stay relevant and be authentic. If you don't dance, don't dance. Nobody is asking you to make a fool of yourself. Lean into what you're good at. If it's teaching, I wrote a book called Viral Vids, where it's a guided content journal that helps people learn how to go viral, specifically on TikTok, but it can work across platforms. And so in there, I talk about the 3 master keys. The things that work in short form content are going to be drama. So it's a fight. Oh, everybody want to know about the fight. They want to take a side. They want to form an opinion. It's going to be comedy because people love to laugh, or it's going to be education. And so if you are a teacher at heart, Brianca, people love to learn things. Even if they're never going to do it, I will watch a video top to bottom multiple times on how to lay towel. I ain't laying no towel. For what? I'm not about to be on my knees, back hurting. Okay, I already sound like one of the bubble wraps when you take out your package from Amazon. That's how my knees sound when I get up. I'm not about to be on my knees, but I want to watch you do it. Okay, retrofit your van to live in it. I'm not living in a van. I need indoor plumbing, but I just love it because you're doing it and I'm living vicariously. You see what I'm saying? Like, stay in your lane, be consistent in your lane, but also stay relevant. All right, I'm done.
Listen, now that we have seen why Christal be going viral, being silly, it's just so funny because, one thing I will say really quickly is that, I personally know Christal, and I knew her because we go to church together. And I feel like it has been beautiful to watch her blossom into bringing her personality online. And so I just really quickly want to touch on that and ask you, because being yourself, as an introvert, and I don't know if you're an introvert or not, but it could be scary. How did you get to a point of being comfortable of putting your real self out there? And when did you start seeing that oh, people actually like this?
So during the pandemic, I, like most people, flocked to TikTok just because it was the thing to do. We was in the house, I had nothing going on. And I was putting up videos and they weren't really doing anything. It was weird. I felt weird. I'm like, I probably ain't gonna do this, whatever. I would go weeks in between posting anything because, I would get 23 views. I'd be like, oh, okay, hey, strangers, whatever. But one day I posted, now mind you, I've been creating content for years because, I was on YouTube before Instagram and all of the things. So I've been doing content for a while. But there was this one day that it was completely unpackaged. I didn't think anything about it. I didn't have on any makeup. I didn't look cute. I was on vacation. I had been sitting out in the sun. I was a little sunburned or whatever, but I came home and I looked around the kitchen and my husband had made a sandwich and left everything open and out. And I was so irritated because I'm like, how many times do I have to have these conversations with you? Stop doing this. We do not have a maid, right? And so I made a quick video, really, really quick. I panned the kitchen countertop and then I turned the camera to face me and I had my eye twitching like this because I'm just like, oh. And the sound that was popular back then was, her name is Jasmine. I forget what her ad is, but her sound was, don't get to cussing. Because I'm like, in real life, I want to be like Peter and slice some ears off. What you want, square up, right? I didn't think anything of it. It was a 7-second video. And within hours, like tens of thousands of views. And I was just like, this is weird. So what changed it for me was when Tabitha Brown, Auntie Tab herself, commented, it was like, oh, how I can relate. And there was a light bulb moment for me. And I was like, oh, y'all want to know about real life. I don't have to put on a show for you. I don't have like half of my videos. I've gone viral more times with not a stitch of makeup on my face. Okay. Just laughing about stuff, sharing my actual personality. Like Candace said, we know each other in real life. She know how I am. What you see right now is how I am in real life. Right. And as an introvert, I think the only real uncomfortable thing for me was, just showing people. But the act of actually doing it, it's me and myself. And so, yeah, there may have been like 100 drafts, but I did it. And there was a great response. And I think the cool thing about this from an introvert perspective is that it's not live, right? So let's say if you're getting into your business and you're trying to grow into a place where you can do stuff like this, come on and speak and be well-spoken and speak to hundreds of people at a time or thousands of people, whatever it is. When you're creating content, it's you and your screen, it's you and yourself. And what I recommend to anybody who wants to get into content, start in a mirror. Don't start in front of a camera. Start in a mirror. Have conversations. Be comfortable with your facial expressions. Be comfortable with what you emote from a physical perspective, since 80% of our communication is nonverbal. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable and just be natural. Because at the end of the day, the real you is always going to come out.
Facts on facts on facts. I love it. And I just love seeing that behind the scenes with you. I know for me, I am a huge introvert and most people can never believe it. Like, they're like, I'm like, that's because I'm literally sitting in this apartment by myself. Like, I be dancing in front of these reels, doing my own little thing, but like, we might be out and I might dance or I might sit in the corner looking awkward. Like, that is my personality. That's who I am. But I want, if you are an introvert, and I feel led to say this, is just like, Christal said it best earlier, and it be stuff that I be telling my clients all the time, get over it, okay? Because how do you want to be a millionaire, but you too afraid to go live on Instagram? How do you want to be a millionaire, but you too afraid to be on camera? And I know there's a lot of content creators out there who will give you the keys to how to build a business online without showing your face. I'm here to tell you that that's not in alignment with what God has for you. That's you dimming your light. That's you telling yourself that you're not enough to show up. That's you listening to what the enemy has to say. It's basically telling you, oh, they're going to talk about you. Let's get over all of that for y'all who be like, I hate my voice. Okay, I used to hate my voice too when I heard it. I'm like, oh, please do not play that back. But your voice is going to unlock something for other people. So like, don't worry about how you're going to be viewed. Your community, your tribe will find you. And the one other thing I want to say too is like, in this day and age, you're going to put out content that some people not going to like. They going to comment under there and be like, well, no, I don't think. Okay, well, this content is not for you. And release them into the freedom of your pre-forgiveness. Forgive them in advance. Don't argue with them. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of going back and forth with somebody who's not going to buy nothing from you and who you're not necessarily called to? Sometimes people just be popping up to bring their negative, miserable lives into your space. And at the end of the day, it's not for you to get caught up in. And so that's one of the things I wish I knew earlier on. Like, I'm not about to sit here and argue with y'all. Like, I'm not. I said what I said. It is what it is. And we're going to keep it pushing. So even if you're an introvert who doesn't like attention, whether it's positive or negative, you just got to get over it, show up, and keep doing it, because all of us didn't start looking like we were the best at what we do. We had to grow to this space to feel comfortable with ourselves, to show up, even when we don't feel like showing up. So I want to transition the conversation into just really content creation and like some of your content creation tools. I know you guys have talked about batch loading. And so I'm going to quickly share a couple of things that I have learned to do when it comes to batch loading content. But baby, like even today, I'm gonna give y'all a little secret. If y'all saw the video yesterday for the challenge or for the summit, it's the same day, baby. I fluffed out my hair. I put on a different shirt and it's the same day. It got recorded in the same day, but y'all could think that it's a different day because I got on a different shirt. And if I wanted to, I could have changed my lipstick. The same thing can go and happen with your content. Is like, I do not look like this every day. Like, I be looking a hot mess. So when you know you look cute, film a video, film a couple reels. My phone is locked and loaded with reels for days. Another thing I do is just record videos. Or like if I do go live, I'll take that Instagram live and I'll just chop it up based off of the good things that I said that I didn't even think I was going to say in advance. And now that's content that you can push out using like a tool like Planoly that does automated reels. Like it's just so many different things that you can do when it comes to content. So I would love to hear from you guys about like the tools that you're using as a part of like, not just your content creation, but your marketing. Like, what are your like top 3 tools? Y'all don't got to go through your whole entire tech stack, but like, what are some of your favorite tools to use for content and marketing?
So I'll go first. My top 3 are ConvertKit, Deadline Funnel, and ManyChat. I feel like ManyChat has really saved my life with Instagram. So those are my top 3.
Yes. And briefly explain what all of them do.
Okay. So ConvertKit is like an email marketing platform. It's basically what I use to send out all of my weekly newsletters and all of my sales emails. Deadline Funnel it's a tool that I use to kind of like tripwire clients into purchasing an offer. So as an example, if you purchase my book, you are entered into an email sequence. And in that email sequence, I say like, hey, at this point, have you finished reading my book? And if you say yes, you go to a landing page that says you can get $500 off my course for the next 7 days. And that process happens automatically. So if you enter my email list on Tuesday, or if you enter my email list on Wednesday, you go through the same process, but I literally have nothing to do with it. And so that is a game changer for me. And then ManyChat is a tool that I use to basically get people onto my email list or to reply to Instagram DMs. It's an automation tool. So the way that it works is I can say like, if you want to purchase my book, you could DM the word book, and then ManyChat will send you the link to purchase that book automatically. So if I say something on my stories, it's like DM the word book to purchase my book. I don't have to sit there and be responsible for replying to 100 people with the link for this book. ManyChat will automatically send it to them. It also allows me to do things like send people through like a funnel. So if I ask a question that's like, what are you struggling with in your marketing right now? Is it sales? Is it strategy? Or is it systems? The way that my offers are set up, I have an offer for sales, I have an offer for strategy, I have an offer for systems. So whichever one you pick, ManyChat is going to send you the information about that offer. And so that allows me to continuously remain engaged with my audience and drive them to where I want to go without necessarily being responsible for upholding that conversation. And it really helps because, you know, I run my business, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I'm a marketing officer for a global nonprofit. And so because of that, you know, like I may not be on Instagram 2 hours later when you reply to this DM, but I don't want you to miss the opportunity to work with me. And so using these tools allow me to continue to run my business without necessarily having to be on and visible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Love it. Ryan?
Yeah, I love those. And ManyChat we use as well because it has like super high open rates, click-through rates. You know, it's all about getting in front of people. I'm on the Chat GPT wave, of course. So big on that. We're using that, you know, a lot, me and my team. And I think it's important with Chat GPT is like still having that creative aspect part of it. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't need copywriters anymore. I'm just fire all my copywriters. I'm gonna do everything myself. I'm gonna let the AI handle it. But I think you definitely still need someone who has a creative mind to, you know, come up with good concepts. And Chat GPT will definitely shorten the process. So if it's like normally takes you 2 hours to create a blog post or a sales page, whatever it is, now it may take you 45 minutes. It shortens it. But you still need someone with that creative aspect and understanding your avatar and pain points, so forth. We use ClickFunnels generally for all our landing pages and sales pages and upsells and order bumps. That really helps us maximize our average order value when someone does come in the funnel. Because that's one of the keys on how we can spend more on marketing and advertising on the front end is when they come in, we get them to spend more, we get our lifetime value, and we increase the cart value. So I like that platform because it allows us to do that seamlessly with the bumps and stuff like that. And then I love Active Campaign. I do love ConvertKit as well. We work with that, a lot of our clients. But I use Active Campaign for all our automation, our segmentation, our tags, and our CRM. That's our back end that we use Active Campaign.
Okay, I know you're a marketer and you say all these words and people might not know. So What was the last thing you talked about? You were saying average order value, the tags and segmentation. So can you just break down the importance of tagging and segmenting your email list? This is a good little nugget they about to get.
Definitely. So it's all about behavior-based marketing. So when someone joins your list, you want to speak to people differently, depending on how they came into your funnel. So someone just gets my free ebook and they come onto my list and they're first introduced with my brand, I want to tag them as like someone free, they're a lead, they're a prospect. So I want to give them information. I want to nurture them. I want to explain my company, my business, my story, and how my product or service can help them, because they're just a prospect. They didn't actually become a customer yet. Now, if someone is a customer, if they're a paying customer, I want to tag and segment them. I want to speak to them differently as opposed to someone who's a lead, because if someone's a customer, I can speak to them differently. And then also with my customers, not all customers are the same. So if someone spends more, if they have a higher AOV, average order value, I want to identify that. So if someone spends more with me, and it's something called the Pareto principle, which is like the 80-20 rule, where it's like 20% of my customers generally make up 80% of my revenue. But if I don't segment them, if I don't tag them, if I don't identify that, I don't know that. So if someone spends more with me, I want to speak to them differently. I want to give them different incentives. I may want to give them special bonuses. I may want to give them more access to me, but if I don't tag them, if I don't segment them, I don't know. And I'm just giving blanket messages to my entire list, but not everyone's the same. You want to do it behavior-based. Hope that answered the question.
It sure did. I love it. Christal.
Now, I am more of a equipment tech geek. So a lot of what was said, while greatly appreciated, was like, woo. Don't choke on the water, Ryan. I am going to speak more so from a software perspective. So my go-to I use pretty much every day is Video Shop. Is one of my favorite apps to use that I can just do stuff that's really quick on my phone. So, whether it's trimming, editing, adding some type of filter on top, doing voiceovers, transitions, different things like that. I use Video Shop. I recommend it to all of my clients as well. That's something that I use on my cell phone. I use Adobe Suite pretty much for everything else. So anything that I'm doing, whether I'm creating graphics or if I'm editing something that's a little longer format. So like I've done online class courses for some of my clients. So edited all of that in Premiere Pro, different things like that. I also, and this is a good tool for people who are creating content. Let's say if you have a script or something that you want to write out, whether it be long form or something long that you want to chop up into shorter pieces, and you don't want to spend the time, if you're nervous, if you're new to it and you're just struggling to get it out without all of the without all of the trip ups, or you lose your train of thought, different things like that. Teleprompter is an amazing app to use. It's literally a teleprompter on your phone. You can type out your script, have it on there, read it, whether you want to do it vertically, whether you want to do it horizontally, and it will help you cut time so much. It saves me so much time when I have something like an ad that I created, or if I'm doing auditions, or if I'm just creating the type of content where I'm looking straight to the camera, I'm speaking to somebody and I want to make specific points without stopping and starting over and over and over again. Teleprompter is a great app to use.
I love it. I've used teleprompter before, and baby, it changes the game. Okay. Like, you don't have to memorize stuff. You can put that in there real quick. Don't have to do 15, takes. You just, and it's like cheap. Like, I think there's a free version maybe, but like I just paid for the paid version and it's worth every little penny that I spent on it. So I love that. Thank y'all for sharing that. I want to swing this question to Ryan. I know we've been talking a lot about funnels anyways, but can you just break down like a simple, like to someone who's never heard of a funnel, or like they're kind of like Christal, like, whoo, that went over my head, child. Like, so what is a funnel, and like, what's a simple way that I guess they can kind of understand the value of having a funnel in their business?
So it's basically just a step-by-step process that you use to just sell your products and services. And I know when I first got started in business, I didn't think about what I offered as like a system, as like a sales system people should go through. It was like, oh, I have this product or service. I'm passionate about it. I kind of know who I want to serve. I want to just, sell this and build my business. but really thinking about like, how can I bring people through like a journey, a customer journey? And also, I think it's kind of like dating. A lot of times people are trying to monetize too early. It's like you're trying to get married on the first date. If someone's first introduced to your brand, you want to give them something either free or low cost just to introduce your product and service to them, and then nurture the relationship to actually become a paying customer or just buy more from you. But it's basically just a system that people go through from like, I'm interested, I'm a prospect, I'm a lead, to actually becoming a paying customer. And you do that through your quote unquote funnel.
I love it. Way to break it down, super simple and easy. And I think when it comes to funnels, it's like, I used to be that person that like, I remember when I first launched my business and I had like an event. So I was like, I posted it and announced it, and there was like all these likes on this post. Like this was back like probably because we launched Epic Fab Girl in 2016. So we put it on Facebook, we put it on Instagram, you get all these likes. It's over 200 likes on them. And you're like, what? Like, people are so excited. And then nobody was buying tickets. Right. So I'm like, like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. And I had friends being like, well, have you sold any tickets? I'm like, yeah, like we sold a few, but like nobody's really buying tickets. And they're like, well, what have you done? Like, and I'm just like, well, I posted about it. And I just remember back then in my mind, even being a person that went to school for marketing, I didn't really have this aha moment until later that like, it's not just enough to post one time. Like there's a series of things. And this is one thing I always like to tell my clients is like, if you look at y'all remember when Chick-fil-A and Popeyes had that whole back and forth, like when that chicken sandwich came out, you saw that Popeyes on your Instagram feed. You saw Popeyes ads, I think they even had a truck pulling up through Chick-fil-A's parking lot. You saw Popeyes like on the bus stop. You saw billboards. You saw they even had gear that they modeled after Ivy Park looking stuff. It was just like that's a marketing campaign. Okay, that's the multiple touch points. It takes more than just one post for someone to make a decision. And a funnel is the thing that helps move people down that decision-making process so that it's not just, oh, you post one time and then somebody gonna buy. Like it takes energy, effort, and strategy to get somebody to buy from you. And, it's not just, oh, I posted about it one time and I don't understand why they went with that other coach or why they bought that purse from that brand. It's like, girl, are you even talking about it online? Do you have an email funnel set up to tell people, did you get their email address so they landed on your website? Like, did you give them a reason to give you their email? Like, are you emailing them? Because some of y'all already know y'all got email lists that y'all ain't even sent the email to. Like, and then you scared to send the email because you don't want to get on their nerves. And it's like, but if you look at your inbox, and you see how many emails that you've gotten. If these major corporations are sending multiple emails a week, how do you think that you are above and beyond them or that you're going to get on somebody's nerves? No, you're not going to get on their nerves. And if they do, they can leave your list. That's fine. But if you're putting yourself out there, you're not going to get on their nerves because you're providing an opportunity for them to elevate their life in some way. So like, stop thinking about it as, oh, I'm going to get on their nerves if I keep posting about this. The only way you're going to get on their nerves is if your marketing is bad. But you're here today. Your marketing is not going to be bad after this. Okay. Like stay tapped in. Okay. So this next question is actually for Brianca. I want to know, because there's so many platforms, social media, there's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there was Clubhouse there, and there still is Clubhouse. There's Twitter, there's Snapchat, there's like all these other places. There's LinkedIn, right? Like, how should a business owner decide like what channels they should be a part of? Pinterest, because listen, I love some Pinterest, but like if you're first getting started, you're like, well, I got to be on every one of them. And it's like, no, you don't. So what is your advice on, getting started on a platform, transitioning to other platforms, or just figuring out where they need to show up based on, what they're building and who they're trying to reach?
Yeah, so I think a big part of that is really understanding like audience segmentation. So a lot of times, like what I've experienced is that clients will have a whole bunch of offers. They'll have like 3 or 4 offers, and each of those offers, they in their brain will think that it's targeting the same person, but they're truly not. When you dive into it, the offers are in a hierarchy. So those offers are going to people at different points in their customer journey. Social media is kind of the same. Like social media, the different platforms have different uses. The audiences on those platforms are different. So when you're thinking about your audience segmentation and you're thinking about who it is that you talk to, you have to think about it also on where are those people. So as an example, I operate as a marketing strategist and I operate as a coach. A lot of my coaching services I sell and I promote on Instagram because that's where my coaching audience is. Those are the people who show up. They want to see my baby. They want to see my life. They want to see how my business, funds my life and how they all work together, et cetera. But I also operate as a consultant for nonprofits where I help them with their marketing strategy. I specifically target those people on LinkedIn because nonprofit leaders and the people who make the contract decisions for nonprofits are not looking to find their consultant on Instagram. They're looking to find that consultant either through Google, on LinkedIn, from referral, word of mouth, et cetera. And so even how I position my expertise on Instagram and how I position my expertise on LinkedIn is different. On LinkedIn, you'll find a more corporate or professional version of myself, right? On Instagram, you see the behind the scenes, you see my baby trying to learn how to walk, you see me going on vacation and on road trips and things like that. I don't share that content on LinkedIn because the audience is different. So when you're thinking about what platform you want to be on, you have to first go back to who you're talking to in your business. Where are they in their journey? What are their pain points? What are their struggles? What are their desires? And where do they go for trusted information? A key way to do this, right, and Candace talked about this at the beginning, is market research. If you say that your ideal client is a business owner in the nonprofit sector and they have been in business for 5 years, they have their 501c3, and this is the struggle that they have, go and do some research, find CEOs of those kind of nonprofits and think and look and stalk them and see like, where are they showing up? Where are they being consistent? Where are they promoting company news about their business? Where are they hanging out? And it's not just enough to say like, even if you come back and you think about people who are coaching other business owners, it's not just enough to say, well, all the coaches are on Instagram, because you also then have to take it a step further and say, okay, how do I penetrate that sphere, right? Are there other coaches who are also targeting that audience who I can connect with, whose platforms I can be on, who I can collaborate with in some kind of way to put myself in front of those businesses? And so I think that when you're thinking about, what platform do you want to be in, I always recommend to do one thing well and then add on. So I don't recommend that you come out the gate and say, I'm going to be on Instagram, I'm going to be on LinkedIn, I'm going to be on Twitter, I'm going to be on Facebook, because you're not going to do it. You're going to get overwhelmed. You're not going to have a strategy, and then you're going to burn out and you're going to stop. But if you say, I see that my audience is on Instagram as an example, and my goal on Instagram is to build awareness for my business, and I want to take those people who follow me on Instagram and convert them to my newsletter. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go live once a week. I'm going to post on Instagram 3 times. I'm going to share in my stories every day. I want you to commit to doing that for 90 days. You do it for 90 days, then you say, okay, how else can I expand my reach? How else can I expand to other platforms? Then you pick another platform and you do the same thing. You go back to the audience. Who am I talking to? What's my strategy for talking to them? And then where am I sending that audience to? Because it's not enough to just show up on all these platforms. You have to be directing that audience back to where your business is, your email list, your community, your website, et cetera, which means having a plan and a strategy in place for each of those platforms. And so hopefully I answered that question.
Absolutely. I love it. It's about knowing who your audience is and then showing up on those said platforms. Christal, I have a question for you. I know your social media has grown and expanded. I want to talk about how have you been able to actually monetize your audience on social media, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok? How have you seen your business grow since your social media following has grown as well?
So a lot of people ask that question, looking at the type of numbers that I have, right? I have close to 600K on TikTok, and I have over 80K on Instagram. And so people are like, oh my gosh, the creator fund and how much money are you making? At the end of the day, especially because these apps are unstable, as Ryan mentioned earlier, like they have glitches. It can be down for several hours. It can be down for a whole day. Every other day, the US government is threatening to ban TikTok as a whole. So like at the end of the day, like my money is chump change, what I make on there. The ultimate goal is, if you want to be a content creator that makes money, your goal is to position yourself as a viable brand collaborator. And so I always make sure that I am consistent so that, as we talked about earlier with the data, right, I can go and say, this is my engagement. And I can't let my engagement tank because I'm not posting. So I can say over the last span of, 60 days, I have touched 8 million accounts. And this percentage of those accounts are actually following me. And these are the type of people, these are not only the type of people, but the amount of people who have been commenting and sharing, because it's not enough to say these are the views that I've gotten. Are they liking? Are they sharing? Are they bookmarking? Are they commenting? Different things like that. And so because I keep those numbers up and I keep a certain feel of my content, the authenticity that I have is very lighthearted. A lot of it is very comical. I keep a pretty clear, clean brand. So I'm positioning myself to align with bigger brands that identify with my type of branding. And so, I'm not going to do a collaboration with Foot Finder. Foot Finder reached out to me and was like, yo, we love your content. We want to do a brand collaboration with you. We got this money. And I'm like, okay, but that does not really fit my brand. I'm not talking about foot fetishes and all kinds of kinky stuff, like to each his own. But as for me in my house, that's not really where we're at, right? So you have to be selective about how you choose to align yourself, but then also, again, making sure that you have the data to present to these brands for collaboration and say, okay, this is what my reach is worth. This is the type of return of investment that I can give back to you if you hire me to make a post about your product or service. And then my viewers, my audience will be introduced to your brand. And so you pay me this fee and you can give me an affiliate link, or you can give me, whatever it is, if it's a code or different things like that, and just kind of gauge from your marketing campaign how well it did on my channel. And the goal is always to create partnerships and not just one-off collaborations, because that's another way that you can guarantee consistent income for yourself on a monthly basis. And so that's what I've been working on personally. Most of the success that I've seen has been through brand collaborations. I'm also in the process right now of scaling that to make it something that I'm doing on a regular basis with consistent brands. So that partnership sphere that I just mentioned, that's what I'm getting into. But that's really how you monetize your brands, is just making sure that each platform that you're on, from a realistic standpoint, YouTube, you're not able to monetize until you have 1,000 subscribers. I just hit that. You best believe I'm monetizing the crap out of my channel. And then on all of the other platforms, keeping my numbers up so that I can be attractive to the brands that I want to collaborate with and that I want to partner with.
I love it. Now that we're on the topic of monetization and making money from marketing and social media, I would love for Ryan and Brianca to chime in on, what are some ways that you have seen your clients or yourself make money, specifically from marketing, or just the power of marketing campaigns? What has that been able to do financially, whether it's for you or for some of your clients?
So for me, it definitely was game changing. So, we've been able to generate, over 7 figures collectively in our business and help other clients, maximize over 7 figures. And the main thing is, what I really had to figure out, which we do for, like I said, myself and our clients, is figuring out our bankable sales strategy. Because a lot of times we generate leads or we get people interested, but it's they're not actually buying. How do we actually get them to convert to actual customers? So you have to figure out what's the best funnel to actually sell them into being a customer? So, it could be an event funnel where you're actually doing a live event and get people in a room. And it's much easier to sell someone something if you have them in person, if you create an experience, especially if you're selling high ticket. For some people we work with, it maybe just do their email. And they know, like, as soon as they get on our email list, we're going to hit them with our flows, our segmentation, our tags. I'll break down those terms if you want me to. But we know as soon as they get on our list, we're able to monetize them because we understand our sales strategy when it comes to that. Some people maybe webinars or through an online challenge. So that's, been our biggest thing, is really identifying like what funnel works best for your business. So once we're able to identify that, now we can drive leads. Now we can spend, a lot on marketing because we understand our back end. So, one of our most profitable campaigns for myself was me actually using one of my online courses, like a $47 kind of a loss leader. And we actually lost a lot of money on the front end of selling this course because what it cost us to actually acquire customers. But everybody that came through that course, we put another funnel on the back end where people can schedule a call. And now we're able to sell our services and close more clients just by using that $47 offer on the front end to get more people into our higher ticket services. So it's really, for me, it's understanding the strategy, understanding your back end. And that allows you to, like I said, spend a lot more money on, marketing and on the front end, because how many people, we talk was like, oh, I spent some money on Facebook ads, I spent money on marketing, but I can't sustain it. I spent this $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever, but I can't actually scale it because I don't have a good funnel in place in my back end.
I love it. And y'all heard him say that right. So he says 7 figures for himself and for clients. And I just want to, I think proximity is power for sure. But I think as believers, we talked about this yesterday in yesterday's training, right? Is that we shouldn't feel guilty for making money. Like, how do we expect to have the impact that God desires for us to have in the world if we're not making money? And so, whatever idea it is that you have, like, I really just challenge you to take it seriously, because it can build to 6 figures, 7 figures, and beyond. And that's why we talk about helping businesses, scale to 6 figures and beyond, because a lot of times people come in thinking about 6 figures, but in reality, like, 6 figures is like a given. Like you should get to 6 figures. Like if you're tapped into the right community, you're going to be able to get to 6 figures. 7 figures should be the initial next goal, but it shouldn't be the end of it. Okay. Like it's like the way that you can build your business beyond just 6 figures. And I just want y'all to take your idea seriously and to understand that if other people that look like you are doing it, it's also possible for you. So Brianca, I would love to hear from you about just the role that marketing has played, like in the monetization of your business.
Absolutely. So a very big milestone for me is that in 2020, I quit my job as a digital director for a national nonprofit, and I went full-time in my business. And in that first year, I did hit in that first 6 months, I hit my first 6 figures. But the biggest accomplishment has been that my clients have made over $500,000, and I have served, over 500 women. The key, I think, for me when it comes to marketing and monetization is always thinking about, like, how can my clients either make their first sale immediately or increase their average order value without spending more time. So one of the best strategies that I have my students deploy is when they come into my programs, I have them start thinking about, like, how can they build that muscle of sending emails regularly, talking to their audience, perfecting that messaging, because I believe that your messaging gets clearer the more you talk about your offer. Sometimes you create an offer and the first time you talk about it, you're like, sounds a little wonky, like that doesn't really feel good. But then the more you talk about it, the more you kind of like step into your power about it. And so I think that by having my clients really get into that rhythm of sending emails, they start feeling more confident about what their expertise is, how to talk about it, how to talk about their offers, et cetera. But one of the simple strategies that I have them do is when someone joins your email list and they confirm their subscription, retarget them to a low ticket offer. So as an example, when you purchase my book, you immediately get upsold into a template called Launch Made Simple, which is literally everything that you need to go ahead and execute your first launch. My book is $27, but because people always buy that template, my average order value for my book is $44. Like, and it seems like a small increase, but that over time, that times X number of hours continues to increase the revenue that you bring into your business. If you start setting up those small upsells, those small retargeting, those small redirects, adding things like abandoned cart sequences and following up with people who don't convert from your funnel. So another strategy that we do is if you come through my whole funnel for my course and at the end you don't enroll, you automatically get an email that's, especially if you landed on my sales page, you get an email that's like, hey, I saw that you were interested, you perused the website, but you didn't actually convert. So I just want to know, like, is there anything that held you back? Do you need a quick call to talk about, what you may be struggling with in your business? If so, here's a discovery call link. I don't publicly offer discovery call links, but because you went through my funnel and because you landed on this sales page, now I'm giving you the opportunity to express, what could be holding you up or what could be the struggle in your business. And those discovery calls allow me to convert people typically into higher packages than my course, because they end up saying like, I didn't really need this course, but I need one-to-one coaching, or I didn't need this course, but I needed a VIP day. And so I say all that to say that, like, at the intersection of your marketing and your monetization is understanding your customer journey, understanding like how to talk to them, when to talk to them, when to offer them the upsell, when to push a little harder, like, hey, you're here on the edge and I know you want to work with me, but something's holding you back. So let me offer or extend the opportunity to come and talk to me one-on-one. But again, that goes back to what we stated earlier, which is being in the data. I know that for me, it takes my clients to have some kind of one-to-one interaction with me before they're like, okay, you're different. I want to work with you. I've been watching you. I've been following your content. I've been doing all the things and I like you, but you're a little honest. You're a little different than how I'm used to people talking to me. So they have to come into that one-to-one relationship with me before they're like, okay, no, you're a little honest. You're a little brash, but I like the way you coach. I like your strategy. I like how you show up for me. So let me go ahead and take this next step. And because I know that, I'm able to wrap my marketing around that. I'm able to give them what they need without necessarily having to spend more time. And that has allowed me to make more money, which has allowed me to, have a baby, get married, buy a house, like go back to corporate, which was something that I really wanted to do. I know like the whole movement is to quit your job, but for me, I'm a better marketer when I work in corporate. I get to work on a team. I get to do work that I love. I've always worked in nonprofits and political campaigns. And so being able to do that, was important for me, but I wouldn't have been able to go back if my business wasn't sustaining itself, if my business wasn't doing well and running on automation and all of those things. And so I just, I think it's very important that you think about like, ultimately, what is your goal and your vision for your life and how will your marketing support that?
I love it. And I'm so glad that you talked about the concept of being a full-time entrepreneur, but going back and like, I think there is like, some people have shame around like the concept of like, oh, I was a full-time entrepreneur. Now I got to go back. But one of the things I'm seeing a lot is that, and I think a lot of people are coming to realize, is that God has created them to be people that do both, right? Like you don't have to be a full-time entrepreneur, to have the type of success that you want. Like you can do both, get great benefits over here. You can, listen, baby, because life without them good benefits, somebody paying for them and it's not the job. Okay. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you just got to figure out what God has for you and be okay with that and not compare yourself, your journey, and any of that to anybody else. And so I want to close with this last question. And we always like to ask this question on the Go Getter podcast. But what would you say to the woman? And this is, everybody can respond. What do you say to the woman that is afraid of going after her next big thing?
Oh, the blessing is in your obedience. Every time that you are not obedient to what God has called for you, not only do you block your blessing, but you block the blessing of whoever God has put under you, whoever God has called you to steward. And so for me, to be disobedient is to be selfish, right? It's to be a barrier to someone else's blessing. And so I think that even if you don't go for it for yourself, you have to go for it for God to advance his kingdom. You have to go for it for all the people that he has called you to. You have to go for it for everything that is bigger than how you feel in this moment, because your feelings will change and you don't ever want to look back and be like, dang, I should have did that. That could have been me. you don't ever want to feel that way. And so I think that, like Christal said, you just got to suck it up and you just got to be like, all right, I'm going to do it. And God going to order your steps. He's going to put everything that he need in front of you. It's going to be like, you're going to look back and be like, I don't know how he did that, but he did that right there. But he can only bless you if you start moving. So just suck it up.
Man, I'm mad that Brianca took my answer. No, so I was writing my first book, 30 Days of Change, Exchanging Tears from Joy, back in 2015. And I had written the first 7 chapters in like 2 weeks. Like it was just coming out. That last chapter, though, I procrastinated on, and it was December 31st. I had told myself by the end of the year, I was going to finish the manuscript so I could start editing and put it out in 2016. And I was dragging my feet. It was the last day of the year. And I'm like competing with myself. I can't be no punk. I got to put it out there. What really pushed me over the edge one day, the Holy Spirit was like, you dragging your feet is holding captive the people whose freedom is waiting in your finished product. And I think it's that same concept as like my disobedience was not just disobedience, but it was also selfishness. The freedom that I experienced is going to bless other people to become free. And if I don't share that, then they're held hostage. And I didn't want to do that. I think for me, it was more about disappointing God and disappointing those people than it was about, getting over my fear. I did it scared. So if you have something that God has put on the inside of you to, step out on faith and you feel scared, that's cool. Like you can feel scared, but you just don't have to allow fear to have you. Like we have emotions don't have us. You can feel afraid, but you can also overcome that fear with the power of God. So go and do it because they're waiting on you.
Yeah, I, agree with that, of course, 100%. So like you said, you just got to get over it. You just got to get it done. And the main thing too, I think for a lot of people, we have so many ideas and so many aspirations. And what you would hate is you see someone else doing that and living in that purpose when it should have been you. Because it happens all the time. You see someone say, oh, I had that idea first. So I thought about that first. It doesn't matter if you don't execute on it. So I would say, get out there, execute on it, just do it and just get started. I know that's something that holds a lot of people back is trying to do everything perfect and, got to have this whole blueprint already laid out. But if you just get started, you can't get to step 10 if you can't even get to step 1. So just getting started, like putting it out there and doing it. And then God definitely will design the path for you that you're, destined to live.
Listen, y'all, this has been so good. Like, I'm just so grateful that all of you guys have been here and just dropped nuggets and gems all day long. I'm incredibly grateful for all of you guys. And y'all, I know in the audience, y'all have definitely enjoyed this. So I want you guys to stay connected with each of them. They're going to go really quickly and share like their Instagram or the best place where they can stay connected with you. So share with us. We'll do Brianca and then Christal and Ryan.
Hey friends, you can follow me on Instagram at the Brianca Johnson, or you can visit me on my website, briancajohnson.com.
Hey everybody, you can visit me at Christal Luster. Everything is Christal Luster, spelled like Christ, A-L, and then Luster. The shiniest name you'll ever see, you'll never forget it, or crystalluster.com. Also, make sure that you pick up your Viral Bids your Viral Bids content journal so that you can learn how to go viral and implement everything that you learned here.
All right, I'm Ryan McCrary and the Funnel Doctor on all platforms. So you can search that or you can search Ryan McCrary. Our website is thefunnelDoctorAgency.com. I love to connect with everyone. We're all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. So I love to connect with everyone.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Go Getter podcast. If you love this conversation, you're going to love the panels and workshops that are at Go Getter Conference. It's our premier event of the year, and it happens annually. It's going to help you market and monetize your God-given ideas and connect with women from across the globe. Head over to gogetterconference.com to check it out right now. And just for staying until the end of this episode, we have a special gift for you, the Go Getter Plan and Profit Workbook. This workbook is going to help you plan your income for the year. So head to gogetterpodcast.com/plan and profit to get your copy. And don't forget to drop a 5-star review if you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you on the next episode of the Go Getter Podcast.